Hello, boys and girls. This is Mrs. Stone, and this is your grammar lesson for the week. I'm combining two lessons this week, lesson 35 and 37, because they're both over pronouns. One talks about subject pronouns, and the other one talks about object pronouns. So we're just going to combine the lessons. First of all, you need to remember what a pronoun is. Remember that a pronoun takes the place of a noun. Okay, so you guys have all used them before in the past. You may not remember they were called pronouns, but you've used them. It says a subject pronoun is used as the subject of a sentence. It tells whom or what the sentence is about. So look at that very first sentence. It says Jason visited Mount Rushmore. Jason is the subject of that sentence. Now, if I wanted to replace the word Jason, the subject of the sentence, with a subject pronoun, I would say he. He photographed the giant sculpture. Now the next one says Mr. and Mrs. Gomez went with Jason. Mr. and Mrs. Gomez, that's the subject. That's what the subject's about. The sentence is about. So that's the subject of the sentence. If I were to take that out and replace it with a pronoun, a subject pronoun, I would use the word they. They enjoyed the trip. So right below that, they give you a handy dandy little chart. Okay. This comes in handy when you're working with your workbook page, but you need to get used to kind of memorizing these and figuring these out. So they give you these singular or plural subject pronouns. Now that next little section talks about a pronouns antecedent. I'm not going to even go there because you don't need to know the word antecedent. The thing that you need to remember is that if you were replacing a singular subject with a subject pronoun, then the subject pronoun also has to be singular. If you are replacing a plural subject with a subject pronoun, then the subject pronoun needs to be plural. Makes perfect sense. So look at the very last two sentences. It says, Alana saw my photographs. She saw them yesterday. So she is a singular subject pronoun because Alana is one person. Now look at the next one. Mom and Dad enjoy traveling. They always travel by train. They use the subject pronoun they because Mom and Dad are two people. Very easy. I don't think you're going to have any problems over this. So let's go ahead and look at practice set 1. And what I want you to do is I want you to go through these sentences. We're going to do number 1 together. But then I'm going to want you to go through these sentences, and you're going to find me the subject pronouns in that sentence. Now, they gave you a handy dandy little chart over either above. I don't know where it is. I don't have that on my thing. But they gave you a handy dandy little chart so that you can look them up if you needed to. But I don't think a lot of you are going to need to look this up. So let's look at number 1. It says, I visited Mount Rushmore with my grandmother. What is the subject of that sentence? All right, you're asking who or whom, right? So, who visited? I visited. So, you're going to put on the first blank. Okay, that automatically skipped. I guess I just gave you the second answer because it skipped right to it. So, you look at number 2. She lives in South Dakota. Okay, so she is the subject of that sentence. So, you need to write she on the blank. Okay, I'm not going to push any more buttons because then I'm not going to give you all these answers. So what I want you to do is I want you to look at 3 through 10 by yourself. I want you to see if you can find the subject pronouns and write them on the line. When you're finished, come back to the lesson and when we will check them. Okay, now that you are back, let's take a look at number 3. The subject pronoun of number 3. Okay, this was a tough one because it's asking you a question. And asking questions, I think, is always tough. But in that one, they gave you a nice, easy one because there's only one pronoun in that whole sentence, and that would be you. Number 4, it shows the giant carved faces of 4 presidents. Okay, what does? It does. So it is my subject pronoun. Number 5, they are Washington, Jefferson, Lincoln, and Roosevelt. So who are Washington, Jefferson, Lincoln, and Roosevelt? They are. Number 6, I also read about Gutzon Borglum. Okay, I is going to be the subject pronoun in that sentence. Number 7, he designed the memorial. Who designed the memorial? He did. Number 8, did you know that workers carved with dynamite? Here's another question. I always think that those are kind of confusing, but also there's only one pronoun in there. All right. And so who are they asking the question to? They asked it to you. So you is the subject pronoun. Number 9, they worked for 14 years. Who worked for 14 years? They worked for 14 years. And the last one, we would like to go back someday. Who would like to go back someday? We would like to go back someday. So those were all fairly easy. I always find that object pronouns are more difficult than subject pronouns because a lot of times when you put, it just doesn't sound right if you were to use an object pronoun where a subject pronoun should go. So that should have been fairly easy and fairly straightforward. Okay, now what I want you to do is I want you to flip over to lesson 37, and we're going to talk about object pronouns. Okay, object pronouns. An object pronoun follows an action verb. You know, sometimes you guys always ask me, why is it important to find the verb or whatever? Well, you have to know your parts of the sentence, especially your subject and your verb or your predicate, remember, because it helps you figure out how to write properly. So you have to find your action verb in a sentence in order to figure out your object pronoun. So it says, I visited the Washington Monument. I visited what? So an object pronoun follows an action verb. It may also follow words such as to, in, at, of, with, during, and through. Ooh, do we recognize what those words are? Those words look like prepositions to me. Okay, so it says, I visited the Washington Monument. I visited what? I visited it. So I have taken the Washington Monument, which is one thing, and replaced it with the object pronoun it. Kim joined my family and me during our visit. All right. Now, me is an object pronoun. That's why you don't say it's in the object part of the sentence, and that's why you don't say Kim joined my family and I during our visit. That's not the correct way to say it. If you were saying Kim and I joined our family, okay, then that would work because that would be in the subject part of the sentence. But me there is the correct. Sometimes we think that sounds incorrect, but it's not. So if I'm taking my family and me and I'm replacing it with one object pronoun, that's two people, so it has to be a plural object pronoun. So I would say Kim joined us during our visit. I had dinner with my grandparents afterwards. I had dinner with who? Them afterwards. These are the object pronouns. Notice that the pronoun you can be singular or plural. Okay, so remember you, if I gave it to you in a sentence, I gave you a sentence, and I said, you are going to the store. And I said, in that case, is YOU a subject pronoun or an object pronoun? Well, in that sentence, it would be a subject pronoun. But if I were to say, Mrs. Stone is going with you to the store, and I said, is YOU in that sentence a subject or an object pronoun? In that sentence, it would be an object pronoun. So you can be a little tricky. YOU can be a little tricky. So you just really paid attention about where it is in the sentence. All right, so let's take a look and see if we can get the hang of this in our workbook. So go ahead and look at practice set A, and you're going to do the exact same thing that you did on the other one, except for you're not looking for subject pronouns anymore. You're looking for object pronouns. Now, they gave you that handy dandy little chart for you to look at so you can tell which one you're looking for. All right, it says, my grandparents took me to Washington, D.C. Okay, now, on this sentence, we know it's not the subject of the sentence because what's the subject of the sentence? My grandparents. Okay, they took who? Well, they took me to Washington, D.C. If you look on that chart, me is an object pronoun. Let's do number 2 together, and then I'm going to turn you loose on this one. It says number 2, a tour guide showed us the sights. The tour guide is the subject, so we know it can't be a subject pronoun. All right. They showed us, the sites. So us is a plural object pronoun. So go ahead and do 3 through 10 by yourself, and then come back when you're done and we'll check the answers. All right, now that you're back, let's look at number 3. It says, first, I will take you to the National Mall, the guide said. Now this one's they threw a tricky one in there because this one, you notice it has 2 pronouns. It has the pronoun I and it has the pronoun you. But we know that I cannot be a subject, cannot be an object pronoun. So we can automatically eliminate I. Okay, so we know that can't be it. Because in that one it says, first I will take. I will take who? I will take you to the National Mall. Number 4, my grandmother asked her about the Washington Monument. Okay, workers finished work on what? Finished work on it in 1885. Number 6, the bus has taken me past many tall buildings. The bus has taken who? Me past many tall buildings. All right. What's the subject of that sentence? Number 6. It's the bus. So we know that the me has to be an object pronoun because we've already got the subject. Number 7. The Washington Monument is the tallest of them all. Number 8. A glass elevator whisked us to the top of the monument. Whisked who? Us. Number 9. The guide will show you the Capitol next, Grandma said. The guide will show who? You. Okay, so you in that case is going to be an object pronoun. And the very last one, it says, we will see it soon, I answered. Ooh, that's another tricky one. Okay, so that one has 3 pronouns in it. It has we, it, and I. All right. Now, if you look on your chart, okay, we is a subject pronoun for sure. All right. I is a subject pronoun for sure. What is it? It is going to be the object pronoun because we is the subject. We will see what soon? We will see it soon. They threw a tricky one on there, number 10. Hopefully you got that. If you went back and remembered what the subject's pronouns were, then you shouldn't have had any problems with that one. So hopefully that last one was tricky, so I'll give them that one. Hopefully you understand this. We're going to play a game on Tuesday over subject and object pronouns. I think the games are actually helping you guys on your quizzes. I think it's making you understand them a little bit better and gives you extra practice. So we will play a pronoun game on Tuesday. I hope you have a great rest of your day, and I will see you tomorrow.